Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 7, Episode 30, DJI Air 3S leak. Hope everyone is doing well. We got a full house already tonight. We're going to have kind of rock and roll here tonight. All right. Let's see who we got in. Drone Shots, Jaybird's here. Akarasho, John Olson is here. Leonard Oglesby is here. David Martin Grapp, welcome. Big Orange Drone Flyer Zach, Waypoint New England. John is here. Welcome, John. Good to see you. Let's see who else we got. Lauren is here. Welcome, Lauren. Lauren just read that they're building a new, I don't want to call it stadium, new arena up there for the Flames. I just saw that today. Michael Wright, welcome, Michael. Good to see you as well. Richard, welcome, Richard. Joe America, welcome, Joe. Good to see you. All right. Yeah. Okay. First bit of news. Captain Ray's on vacation. Okay. And Captain Ray, I hope you're having a great time if you're watching us. And I'm going to share this picture of him. He is out in California. And I believe that's probably his son, I think. And of course, his wife's there too. And having a good time visiting family out in California. Captain Ray, wish you all the best. Okay. Had to bring that one up. Got a drone video I'm going to share later when Ron and Marcus join me with you guys. And I've gotten permission to do it. So YouTube, I have permission from the author of this video to show this video. He posted it on Facebook. So, and I'm not breaking any copyright or anything because he's fully given me permission to show it. But you're going to see a drone miracle. I kid you not. Okay. Trust me. When you see this video, you will agree with me. Okay. It is a 100% bona fide drone miracle. I guarantee you that. Okay. I couldn't believe it when he told me the story. I'm friends with him. He used to live over the previous development we lived in. He lived around us. Drone guy. Wonderful. Great drone guy. He did fantastic footage. Okay. And what I'm about to show you, he's on vacation. And what I'm going to show you in a little bit here, going to blow your mind. I guarantee you. You've never seen a video like this before. Guarantee you this. Okay. 100%. 100%. 100%. Okay. All right. Got a good crowd in the house tonight. All right. That's good. Got a lot to talk about tonight. Hope you guys were on caught Drone Nation last night. Another great episode. Johnny is fantastic on there. I think, you know what? I think Ron and Marcus need to have Johnny on full time. Seriously. Ron and Marcus would agree, but I don't think Johnny would want to be on full time. But no, seriously, Johnny, you did a fantastic job last night. Bob Dempsey, welcome. Good to see you tonight. Did a fantastic job last night. So, and all kidding aside, you know what? They're calling him the FPV king now. That Koopy has been usurped. That long live Johnny Drone Flyer, the FPV king. So. All right. Having a lot of fun. See that? And you know what? You got to have some fun in life. Got to have some fun. Oh, and if you look over behind my shoulder back there, okay, that's what's called a step banner. And I'm going to be using it for my Florida Panthers Den channel, which is out there. And I know several of you have already subscribed to it. And it's going to be a background. So you won't be seeing all my gear and stuff. It's going to be a background. I'm going to move it behind me when I'm doing my podcast for Florida Panthers Den, and that's in the works. I'll probably be doing my first one, maybe first week of August, more than likely second, but everything is falling into place for that. I've already got some videos out there, but they're more like highlight videos, not really me doing anything yet. I do have a short out there, so kind of like I'm working on an introductory video for that. So having some fun. All right, having a good time. Okay. Where do we go? Well, you know, we want to talk about the leaks for the Air 3S, or is it an Air 4, or is it a Mavic 4? And we're going to get to that. We will get to that tonight. So, let's see, where are we going to go at first here? Okay. All right. There were two firmware updates that were just recently released. We're going to first go with the one from DJI here. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And this is one of those ones. DJI released a new firmware for Mavic 3 drone series. Mavic 3 Pro drone was used to capture the full climbing route of Mount Everest. Okay. You can update the Mavic 3 firmware to, and it lists it right here, while the Mavic 3 Classic, Mavic 3 Pro be upgraded to firmware, and it lists the numbers respectively, the latest firmware versions. And basically, according to the release notes shared by DJI, the new Mavic 3 software package adds support for the remote ID requirements of some countries and regions. In addition, the update fixes some known issues. It's usually refer to adaptation, I guess, in regular software running logic or fixing some problems that do not affect the use of the product. Nevertheless, Tech Giant recommends you update the firmware in time to get a better experience. So really, it's kind of like no new features, just, it's mostly, I think this is mostly, they're doing, when they do this, I'm talking about remote ID, and it's about remote ID in other countries is what basically this is. And this is what this update's for. So, but you got to do it. You just, it's just one of those things. It's really kind of a nothing burger, but you got to run it. So, and don't skip these firmware updates. Okay. Just don't skip these firmware updates. And to top that off, okay, our good friends at Autel have a firmware update. And let me share that here as well. Okay. And they're saying this is a critical firmware update for Evo 2 V3 drone users, okay? And it lists specific firmware versions are as follows: Autel Explorer app, aircraft, remote controller. Firmware brings a new pairing method for Evo 2 V3 drones. Simply double-click the battery power button to enter pairing mode. In addition, there are several bug fixes and optimizations contained in the firmware, including optimized video transmission feed performance, optimized no-fly zone function, optimized remote ID function required for UK, EU, and UK legal compliance, optimized HDMI function, fixed GPS update error issue, and fixed other known issues. And it gets in here on how to update. And again, as always, all these articles that I talk about are on Build a Drone Reviewer Facebook group. So make sure that you go out there to get the full 100% story of this. Okay. All right. Oh, Leonard, I hope you're doing better. Sorry to hear about that. It's just, yeah, it's not that we'll be praying for you, my friend. Hope you recover from that quickly. That's not funny. That is absolutely not funny. Okay. So we got those two that were done. Now, this was real interesting. And there's an article here. Let me go ahead and share this one. New York City allows drone flights over people with FAA's latest waiver. Okay. And this just isn't any drone. It's the DJI M300 RTK equipped with AVSS PRS M30 parachute system. Okay. Thanks to legal firm Rupert Law's diligent work on the 10739 waiver application, Aerospec is now set to elevate its operations. Okay. So this means Rupert Law emphasized the meticulous process behind gaining this waiver. The FAA has been very careful to allow over people operations over the years. Commercial drone pilots need to demonstrate their operations are safe through data. This is where most industry members have difficulty in obtaining approval because the aircraft and or parachute system they chose not to have sufficient data on its performance. AVSS provided key data on their parachute system demonstrating it had a certain amount of kinetic energy. Data was key to proving to the FAA its operation is safe. Okay, so that's that's good news. It's in a world right now where there's not a lot of good news. It's nice to see some good news here. So that is some good news. So stay tuned for this. That's good. But note again. Okay, there's some things in particular that I kind of want to call out and spell out on this. Okay. Obviously, they did their homework on this, okay? They picked a parachute system that has been tested, and there's data behind it to back that up. And especially the kinetic force, meaning how fast when it impacts will it be traveling, okay? And I think that's a key. And the slower, obviously, the better in these instances. And it's not always necessarily, it used to be the old kind of school thinking of this was to just slow it down and now it's not only to slow it down, but hopefully not cause it, number one, not cause injuries, and number two, maybe prevent major damage to the aircraft as well too. So, but again, they're putting in the effort on this. Okay. David, no, I've heard nothing about that. Absolutely nothing. If I were to venture a guess on that, we would probably be looking, I'm going to guess, a November timeframe. That's just shooting off the cuff right now. I have no data to back that up. That's just historically, it seems that they have released the mini drone around the November timeframe. So that's kind of what I'm going with right here. Just like I said, shooting from the hip on that one. But I firmly believe if they're coming out with one this year, it'll be in that kind of a time frame. I think we would see that in November. And again, we're going to talk more about what's coming up here. Ron and Marcus will be joining me here in a little bit. So, welcome, Art. Good to see you tonight. Jazz Enterprise, good to see you too as well. Okay. All right. Yeah, and now, okay. Where's Johnny Drone Fire? Johnny, where are you when I need you? Okay. All right. Deal alert. DJI Avata FPV drone combo falls to lowest price ever. The DJI Avata now for only, it was $1,278. Now it's only $759. This is absolutely crazy. This is absolutely crazy. I'm going to go ahead and we'll get this. I want you guys to see this here. Look at this. $759. Look at that. That's a pretty doggone good price. That really is. That's a great price on this drone here. And DJ's, timing, people talk about timing on sales and things like that. And with this, obviously the Avata 2's out and it's doing well too. But this is a great drone. If you want to get your feet wet with this type of drone, now's the time. That kind of price, that's a fantastic price. It's a fantastic drone to own and to fly. I know, from having talked to Ron and Marcus about that, and Johnny as well. If you want to get your feet wet with it, now's the time for that. That's a fantastic drone for that. Okay. And I don't know if I shared with you or not, but one of my friends, somebody who I'm friends with, and he lives here in the state of Florida. He works for a large drone company. Okay. Photography, videography, that kind of thing. He also has his own, and on his own company, he actually does a lot of the Florida Panthers games. All right. And what he did was in the final seconds, right before they won the Stanley Cup, they launched in Nevada where the Zamboni comes out, that little side entrance. Okay. They launched it, hand launched it from there. And you got to see the players leaving the bench from up in the air perspective. And then up from the air perspective of the players, surrounding the goalie, Bobrovsky. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I think I posted that out there, but I'll try to get it out. I think I did get it out to the Build a Drone Reviewer Facebook group. So you get a chance to watch it. It is a very cool video. Very cool. I'm trying to get him to come on the show. And I also want to have him come on my Florida Panthers Den channel as well, too, to talk about that because he flies regularly for them. And it's amazing flying around the arena like that. He does a great job. I've seen some of his videos around the arena. So hopefully I'll get him on sometime. I really, really like that. But yeah, this deal on the Avata, wow. I mean, can you beat that? I don't know. Don't know how long that's going to go on. That's just something that's really good. Just absolutely. If you want to take advantage of it, now's the time to do that. Absolutely. Now, there's another great article out here that I want to talk about. Let's see here. All right. Got the deal alert. Now, this was an interesting article. Mini 3 versus Mini 2 SE versus Mini 4K. DJI drones compared. And I'm not, it's DJI RC compatibility with Mini 3. It really gets into some specifics here. While both the Mini 4K and Mini 3 can capture 4K 30, DJI's latest travel-friendly drone promises greater contrast in shots with chip-level HDR technology. So whether it's highlights or shadows, you get nuanced results with greater depth using the Mini 3. The Mini 2 SE, on the other hand, shoots 2.7K 30 frames per second. Okay. It just, it kind of gives you some comparison and level set with those cameras. Hey, Ron, how are you, sir?
Hello, Bill. How are you tonight?
Doing good. Doing good. Little too rainy down here in Florida. It's like, somebody turned the water faucet on and they forgot to turn it off or broke the handle.
Wow.
It's not
okay.
Yeah, it's a little too, and it's like 4:30, 5 o'clock every day. It's a downpour, total downpour. And it's like they come out to cut our grass once a week. They probably need to come out at least twice now. It's just growing like crazy.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, we've been, fairly normal rain here. Not too bad. Uh-oh. Look who's look what the cat drug in.
Well, there he is.
I waited until Ron was on to make that entrance. I mean, I wanted Ron to get the
I wouldn't act like I've been here all night.
The pomp and circumstance.
Yeah. Bill was talking about battling some rain in Florida. Marcus, you've been battling a little heat in Idaho.
Well, let me tell you, it's worse than heat today. So our air quality is in the red unhealthy level.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Because of forest fires. I mean, you go outside and it just smells like you're in the middle of a campfire.
Gosh.
Yeah, it's really bad. And right now it's 105 degrees. So
Marcus, can you remember back to those golden days of early March when we're in Jupiter, Florida, and the weather was perfect and air was clear?
Oh, go ahead, Bill. I'm sorry.
Maybe we can send up some of that rain we've been having up your way to kind of cool things down and get some of those fires under control.
Yeah.
It's been crazy. The rain has been crazy here. Literally, I was just telling Ron, you probably, we had a drought for like 2 months. Okay. And now you can't shut the water off. I mean, it's like every day at 4:30, 5 o'clock, we get a torrential downpour. I mean, for like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Does it cool things down, Bill, or just make the humidity worse?
It is kind of cooling things down a little bit, but the real thing is, okay, and for some reason, and don't ask me why, it's stirring up the alligators in the ponds, okay?
Oh, boy.
Somebody else had one park themselves in their backyard, okay? And their jaw was just, they were just sitting there for hours with their jaw like that.
Don't let those little dogs out to run around.
We have
let the dogs out.
We got a
community group on Facebook, okay? And somebody, it's like, well, I'm glad you didn't call the trappers or call the Florida Wildlife and Gaming Commission, because they would take them and they would euthanize them. And I said, well, you know what? All right, let me put it to you this way. All right, there are some people here, I kid you not, okay, they've had them come in their garages. You know how they got them out? They got a Swifter. And you
were telling us that last week. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, you know what? I've seen the Florida Wildlife and Gaming Commission don't even think about that kind of stuff, okay? And when if they're under 4 feet, they will relocate them. If they're over 5 feet, they euthanize them, all right? Because it's more than a nuisance. When they park yourself and sit out there for hours out behind your house, and there are people here that are like, save the baby gators. And I'm like, you know what? I'm all for wild protection of wildlife.
Hey, serious question, Bill.
Yeah.
So that happens. Say you go out in your backyard and there's a gator. I got my .22 rifle. What if I went out there? What would happen?
It's legal in the state of Florida to shoot alligators, believe it or not.
Did you say illegal? Did you say illegal?
The only way it's legal is if you are contracted by the Florida Wildlife and Gaming Commission. Okay. That's the only way it's legal. And like you said, you got to have the right ammunition, because you know what? Their hide hitting them, like regular ammunition, it may bounce off their hide. Okay. That's how tough it is. I mean, it's really dense. So you got to, more often than not, what they do is they use a shotgun. All right. And it usually does the trick. So,
and they don't have any predators down there either to worry about, right?
Really? Yeah, yeah, exactly, Ron. They don't have any real natural enemies down here. So
yeah,
but you know
like
what's
in Africa, believe it or not, if you watch enough of those nature videos, like if the lions get hungry enough, they're not afraid of the alligators. They'll eat an alligator.
Well, believe it or not, the only place in the world where this exists is down in the Everglades. There's crocodiles down in the Everglades too.
How'd they get all the way over here?
Yeah, pythons as well. Hey, but the problem with what we're having here as far as flying drones is with this smoky weather, even if you wanted to go out in the heat, it's so hazy that you can't see anything anyway.
And what would the footage look like?
Yeah, it'd just be a big fog, right? So the only thing I can think of is I may, after the show this evening, because of that same smoke, it makes for those nice red sunsets. So I might throw the old Mavic 3 up there and see if I can do a hyperlapse.
I thought you were going to say take the Avata 2 over some abandoned mall and fly around inside.
Well,
yeah.
The other thing that's happening right now is solar weather, and we're going to have more effect, that Aurora Borealis effect, and it's going to wreak havoc with ham radio. I just saw a report on that. It's just like all this stuff at once. This is just crazy. It's just, your fires and this unbelievable rain that we're having now, and the temperatures and everything. It's just it's just absolutely off the charts right now.
Yeah, I see artists saying he's got a lot of smoke too. So in Denver,
they are up in Colorado.
Yeah.
One of the things I wanted to talk about before, there's an article I want to get to, and then our main article. Okay. The Fimi Mini 3. Okay. Ron, I watched both your videos today. Marcus, I watched your videos as well.
Whose was better, Bill?
What's that? Whose was you're putting me on the hot seat right there. Okay.
Joke.
Instantly on the hot seat. But no, okay. Face value, I try to look at things, objectively speaking. All right. And that's the way I did when I had my Fimis. All right. And when I had my Mini. Now, you guys know I actually had a good Fimi Mini, the original one. All right. It was, I really didn't have the problems that everybody else had with them. All right. Which I felt very fortunate. And then, I'm watching Ron's video, and it's kind of like, Ron has that stick pointing straight, and it's kind of like doing that, going, making up a mind of its own out of the box. All right.
They told me I need to calibrate the sticks.
When have I, I'm going to tell you what, maybe once or twice have I done a controller calibration on a DJI drone before I flew it for the first time. Maybe once or twice. Okay. Never had any problem with that. Okay.
Yeah, Ron and I flew the same Fimi Mini, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't notice it at the time, Ron. But and by the way, we both flew it. We both flew it out of the
sticks off, so nothing could have happened to it. The box, the sticks weren't on.
Yeah. So, but here's something I just thought of, Ron. That is a valuable little Fimi Mini because it's flown over the Pacific Ocean, and now it's flown over the Atlantic Ocean.
It truly is. To honor Bill Thomas, it truly is a coast-to-coast drone.
It's a coast-to-coast drone. It is. Yeah.
Well, you know what? You know what? You need to put it in its own little glass enclosure, okay, and put it up on a pedestal, and maybe put it up for auction on eBay.
Hey, Bill, it doesn't belong to either me or Ron.
It's a travel drone.
It's a travel drone. Yeah.
We'll kind of put it in the middle of the screen right there so everybody can have. But really, I want to get, I've watched your videos. What are your overall thoughts on it? Because I know a lot of people have thought about it and asked me about it, and I wanted to get you guys' take on it.
I'm going to start, Ron. So here's what I'll say is Ron and I are very lucky that we had a friend that it's his drone and he loaned it to me to fly. And then I sent it to Ron. And so Ron is going to do some testing with it. So, but I flew it. The first time I flew it, I said, hey, this one's a winner. And I immediately, it's when I was over in at the Oregon coast, I went right back to my hotel room and ordered one right then on the spot.
Yeah.
So I was impressed with it, and I liked how it flew. I liked the video quality, etc. So yeah, it was well worth it. Well worth it's a $300 drone. They put it on sale every so often. You can buy it for $299 for all the features and everything that's on that little guy. And like you said, Bill, they've improved the camera so much. It's well worth $300. That's what I'll say.
There you
Mr.
go.
Brown?
I'll start off with a banner headline, Bill. It's the best Fimi drone I've ever flown. And I've only flown Marcus's original X8, and I flew the Mini 1. It's by far the best of the three. The camera is by far the best I've ever seen on a Fimi drone. That whatever, half-inch, stack sensor. I mean, it definitely has some definition and clarity. I will be posting my one video was just a memory card, but I'm getting ready to post the actual screen recording. I'm actually getting ready to post what came off the memory card. It was quite impressive from a Fimi drone, but again, not flying straight. That hopefully can be fixed. But I mean, it doesn't have the signal penetration. Once I flew it where I was partially blocked by a building, I started having the lag, all the hiccups constantly. I wasn't that far away, but I had something in between. If you walked out and you definitely got it straight on, you were good. But the DJI drones can go behind. The modern DJI drones can go behind objects, trees, buildings, and still maintain a decent signal.
So Ron, I'm glad that you brought that up, because the Mini 4K for the same price, $299 is its regular price. As we all know, it was recently on sale for $239. It's got OcuSync 2, so it doesn't have that issue. Video-wise, I'd still, maybe it's just because I'm used to DJI drones, but I would lean towards what I saw with the Mini 4K. But if you're somebody that's looking for features, if you want follow me and you want waypoint and you want the little Fimi Mini has a ton of automated features on it, it would be the one that you'd want to pick.
And the JPEGs were much improved too, Bill, over the previous. Because Bill, I think I can help you here encapsulate it real quickly here. Jeff Norman, our good friend Jeff Norman, posted on Drone Nation. He asked me, he said, "Hey, straight up, rank, the DJI Mini 4K, the DJI Mini 3, and the Fimi Mini 3." And I said, "Jeff, I've only flown 1.3. Marcus Crawford is the one they asked this question to. But I said, I'll give you the rankings on the drones I have flown. Number of mini drones. Number 1, DJI Mini 4 Pro. Number 2, DJI Mini 3 Pro. Number 3, Fimi Nano Plus. Number 4, DJI Mini 2. Number 5, Fimi Mini 3. Marcus, you have a
Ron, I can't argue
with that order.
Yeah, I can't argue with anything there. Now, if he was talking about the Mini 3 standard, it's got a way better camera than the Fimi drone, the little Fimi Mini does. So yeah, I mean, it's that would be that. If you're just talking
about the plain Fimi Mini 3,
yeah,
he's trying to get things in the same price point.
But he also mentioned the DJI Mini 3, and I think he meant.
He meant the plain Mini 3, the cheap one.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, it's got a better camera.
That's the class of those 3 drones.
It's the one that you would want. It's probably $100 more, or maybe a little more than that, but it would sure be the one that you would personally, that I would pick. However, again, I think when you're getting down, and I agree with how you rank them, but if you're getting down into that price point, we're talking about that $300 price point. It just all depends on the features you want on the drone.
Yeah, Marcus is right. If you absolutely have to have waypoints, Bill, you absolutely have to have tracking, then the Fimis, if they're your number 2 bullet points, but if your top bullet points are like camera quality, signal strength, flying well, whatever, then you flip that to the DJI drones.
Yeah, and you know what? And this is exactly what I was expecting to hear from both you guys. Okay, it was great that price point was $239. All right, for for the DJI. That was fantastic. And okay, and I have to say, after watching everything and listening, okay, I would be inclined, if I had funds, I would go ahead and get a Fimi Mini 3. I would, because I think it's a drone that would do well. I had issues with the signal dropping out on me, and I had clear line of sight. That was with the X8, the old X8. I got to a certain point over the lake behind me, and it would wig out. It would lose signal and flip around and come back home. And give credit, and that's one thing I have to give Fimi a lot of credit for. That software worked impeccably. Every time it lost that signal, it automatically did a face about, and it came and automatically landed. I didn't have to do it.
I have no problem with the return home functions of the drone.
It worked like a champ. It followed and it did what it was supposed to do. Go ahead, Marcus.
Hey, can you put Waypoint New England's question up on Bill? So he is asking about keeping all these drones healthy. It really isn't that tough. I mean, I don't know. You just charge them up once in a while and fly them around. I like to fly, so I fly a lot. And by the way, you can have it once those batteries are in storage charge. I don't know. They can sit back here for 3 months or something, and it doesn't hurt.
Our friend Brian Singleton routinely lets a drone battery sit for a year or more and gets it out, and he hardly ever has an issue.
The key is making sure you get them to that storage charge. So to his point, a lot of times, like particularly with DJI drones, you just charge them up or charge them almost all the way up and let them then bleed back down to that storage charge. They do it automatically. You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Now, what we're saying doesn't apply to cheap toy drone batteries.
So Fimi is one that you cannot let a Fimi battery do that same thing. You'll have problems. You need to take them out and charge them and use them. Same thing with Hubsan. I've had Hubsan batteries die for that very same reason. And again, like what he's talking about is you also have to cycle through those batteries too. So, just a few things you have to think about. But, it's getting to the point that, and Ron and I have talked about this before, Bill, you can't buy a Hubsan drone in this country anymore. So I'm really not so worried about them. Some of these toy drones that are sent to me for review, honestly, I don't keep them. I end up either selling them or giving them away. So,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, one of the articles that I want to cover before we talk about the Air 3S, this is drone debate, attackers, asset or security blind spot and Trump rally. There's been a lot of discussion about this. I'm not going to belabor this point here, but and my initial reaction when I heard this, all right, now I did hear, I first heard it from a news source. I don't know, it was MSNBC or NBC or whoever. Okay. Then I read it from a U.S. senator that he was briefed about this, and he mentioned the word DJI. Okay. He mentioned that specifically. So I knew this wasn't just, them, exacerbating a bad situation and making it worse. Okay. My whole take on this is, all right, let's let the government do their thing. I was happy to hear that the Secret Service director resigned today. That's part and parcel. The number one job of the Secret Service is to protect the president and his family, and former presidents and their families. Okay. And they failed in that effort that Saturday, and she resigned, but, be that as it may. All right. One of the things that, you guys know, and I know as well too, that you can get, some thermal drones up there, even with the temperature the way it was, you can still differentiate. Like, it's much different than when it first came out on the Mavic 2 Enterprise, the thermal one. It's much different. It's much easier to pick out these heat signatures now on this kind of stuff. So what are you guys' thoughts on all that?
Well, Bill, do you think the Secret Service, whoever you want to blame, whatever, do you think the what do you call it, the cover list that the government can't use DJI drones, do you think that hindered them in the fact that they didn't have a drone in the air looking for shooters?
That's what Stephen Sutton.
And I saw his. Yeah, Marcus, thank you for bringing that up. I was going to mention him. I watched his video, and it was a good video about that. I don't know. See that's a gray spot. That's an unknown for me, and I think for all of us. We don't know.
I wish in the Congress meeting, one of the senators or Congress would have asked the former director of the Secret Service why you did not have a drone in the air.
Yeah.
She didn't give anybody any good answers.
No, she was.
That clearly, and listen, I don't want a backseat drive or Monday morning quarterback, because you know what? As much as we can talk about it, the three of us don't know all the facts and everything. However, like you said, Bill, their job is to protect the presidential candidates, et cetera, and they clearly failed on what appeared to be, just as laymen, and again, we don't have all the facts, but as laymen, what appeared to be a pretty obvious breach of security. It looks like it to us. So yeah, they definitely failed.
Yeah, and by somebody that didn't see them, even though he flew a drone ahead of time, it didn't seem like, I don't know, it was like, he was some mastermind sniper up there. It was like, like he was just some local yokel climbed up there.
Well, which was what he was.
It wasn't like he's some trained ex-Navy SEAL type up there or whatever,
Yeah, he was just a disturbed young guy that
20-year-old, and you look at him and you kind of feel sad. I kind of feel sad for him. The school, he said that the school where he went to said that he wasn't picked on or bullied, but he kind of looked like that. I mean, unfortunately, and I feel bad for kids like that. I really do. And, just a lot of stuff coming out, but, and the other thing that I want to mention about this too is this. I thought for sure this was going to be the dagger in the heart for DJI, and it would just kind of like they would say, okay, we just, they would add it to the bill and be done with that. But there's been no talk about that, which I think is good because, it's the old adage, okay? This drone didn't do anything by itself. There was an operator that did this stuff. Okay.
Well, it's the same thing you could say about people that don't want to say guns. They say it's not the gun that kills somebody, it's the owner. Same thing here. The drone didn't kill anybody that day.
Yeah, exactly.
You might as well ban cars, because a car transported the shooter there with a rifle and the drone. Ban the car.
Exactly. So and that's all I'm going to say on this for now. Let's just hope going forward that there's a whole lot more common sense that goes on with this, and that presidential candidates and presidents and ex-presidents and their families can be protected like they should be. And it doesn't matter on which side of the aisle. Okay. They need to be protected. A human life was lost on Saturday. I mean,
and I just want to say something to Jay Bird. This is a drone show. You need to leave politics out of it. If you want to make those kind of comments, then do it on a political show or something, but not here.
I agree, Jay Bird. Please, keep your political comments, on your own. But we're here talking about drones, and we're having a discussion about this. So, all right, we're going to move on to what we think, or who our good friend Hi Kesterloo had a great article out today and a partial video on it, and there it is in all its glory. Okay. And we saw the broken one yesterday.
Now, was that an Air 3S or was that a Mavic 4 that was broken, Bill?
That, Ron, there's the $60,000 question right there. Okay. I don't know, and look in this one right here, the area where the camera is gargantuan. I mean, look at that. I mean, it almost rivals a Matrice right now. How big it is, right? The area from the top of the drone to where the camera is, I mean, that's huge down there. That's just a huge area there.
Bill, would you like a bigger Air series drone? Would you want the Air 3 to grow?
Yeah, that's a $60,000 question, Ron. It really is. I mean, is it going to be bigger now than the Mavic 4?
Or the previous Mavic 3, maybe the Mavic 4 is going to be even bigger. I mean, it looked pretty big in those broken. Marcus was, talking about how big the gimbal and camera looked last night
on that Mavic. Yeah, the one that.
Well, we think it's a Mavic. We don't know.
I think it's pretty clear that it is. Well, I thought Lon had the right answer. The reason that gimbal looked like a flashlight in the front is so it can flip vertical. Good thinking. But
yeah, Lon was right. I watched you guys last night, and
I think
Lon was right with that.
Yeah.
He really was.
Imagine watching that big thing flip vertical, Marcus.
Yeah. Hey, I got it. Before we get off the Air 3 here, though, listen, I got to tell you, you guys are talking about how big it is. One of my biggest disappointments in the Air 3 is that it was so much bigger than the Air 2S. One of the things that I just loved about the Air 2S was how compact it was, and it fit in the same size bag.
It would fit in the Mini 2 bag.
It would have, yeah. Mm-hmm. And bigger is not always better. I guess what I'm saying is I want all those features that the Air 3 has, but if it was still in the Air 2S size package, that would be.
I mean, the biggest thing about the size gain is the ability that it handles so well in the wind and stuff, Marcus. The size increase made it a champ for flying in windy conditions.
I suspect
that's a great point, Ron. That really is. Well, you think about it too, and you look at the new Matrice series when they came out, okay, and a lot of people call them like a. I heard even someone refer to it as a pregnant or as a Mavic 3 on steroids. Okay.
Hey, Bill, Jaybird is throwing some shade at me in the chat. Can you maybe 86 him?
Yeah.
We don't need that. This is a drone show.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, somebody had said that the Matrice looked like a Mavic 3 on steroids because it got so big, but yet, and here it was the first time, it was pretty much being able to fold it up. And you had everything. I mean, albeit it was like almost a suitcase, you were able to carry, it was much more portable than the previous Matrices were. I mean, those things were gargantuan. So, it had the ability with the folding arms this time with that. So maybe this is how DJI is proceeding with this. I mean, I'm just.
Mark Weiss made the comment in the chat that the Air 3 is the same size as the original Mavic Pro.
That's a good point, Mark.
Right. Yeah,
that really is. Yeah. That absolutely was. So, I mean, one of the things that I instantly saw, okay, when we're looking at this right here, okay, I'm looking at the camera. I'm looking at how big it is, okay, in comparison to the rest of the body, okay. The body, the top part of it, it looks like an Air 3, all right, size-wise to me, just from eyeballing it, okay. But that length right here of the camera, that is completely off the charts. Completely off the charts.
Yeah.
So what kind of sensor do you think this guy would have?
Well, I mean, if it doesn't have a 1-inch sensor, nobody's going to buy that thing, Bill.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm halfway joking. We talked about that last night or whatever. I mean, I've done a comparison test between the Air 2S and the Air 3. Other people have done it. Nobody's ever done a test that shows the 1-inch sensor on the Air 2S looks any better.
Well, I'm also going to go to, and I do want to talk about this because I think Dobo was on a couple of weeks ago on Drone Nation, right?
Him and Lon were the weekend after they were in Margate City and
they were on, and I know Ken said something about, well, there's no product in the hands of, of reviewers right now.
And that was maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago already.
But again, that's what I was going to say. That was 3 or 4 weeks ago. Okay. We're now at the point, we're kind of progressing, summer's in full swing here. And, this is getting to the point where they're probably going to be doing something. Okay. And especially when you start to see, and you guys know how DJI, we kind of know how DJI works right now. These leaks are not accidental. Okay. These are, you want to call them accidentally on purpose. They select who they send them out to, and they get out there. All right. And again, from reading that article, it said this is where a number of DJI drones have been seen before, where they've tested them. So this kind of bears witness to all that. Is it an Air 3S? Is it an Air 4? Is it a Mavic 4?
Yeah. Hey, Bill, before we get too far off the thing, you want to highlight Mario Napa's question? Maybe we can field his question for him here. It's second to the bottom.
Third from the bottom now, yeah.
Do you think the Air 3S would have OcuSync as the Mini 4 Pro, which that would be OcuSync 4, if I'm correct, Marcus?
Yeah, it is OcuSync 4, so I would imagine. I don't know why. Hey, I love Warren's comment there. The one you just, Acarasho.
He's taking money.
Yes, indeed.
Most of his videos he posts are still in a Mini 2, I believe.
Well, but you know, we're always, you know, it's funny, Ron and I had a conversation yesterday about how if there was no new DJI drones this year, we'd be happy with what we have. But of course, here we are discussing and waiting with bated breath for whatever the next thing is. It's fun. It's just
fun. Well, Bill's right though, because they're purposely teasing us with these links here to get us interested.
Right. That's right. Yeah, they're getting us excited.
David Martin Grant says, I think the Mavic series should keep the same mid-size form factor. Do you think we'll invariably see the Phantom series revive? There is a big question, Bill. Will the Phantom ever come back?
Bill's the guy that'll know that one.
That's a $60,000 question, David. And I'm going to say no. And I said one of the big reasons I'm going to say no is, you remember, and I've had a number of inquiries lately. It's funny how I'll get a lot of questions about a drone, and I'm getting a lot of questions about the Phantom 4 right now. And it's about people trying to find batteries for it. All right. And one of the things that I've told people is avoid Amazon. Okay. Because there's a lot of aftermarket batteries for sale. And unfortunately, what I've seen in a lot of the reviews, they're coming DOA. All right. They're dead on arrival because they've been sitting for so long, 2 or 3 years probably. And they're only getting sold now because it's kind of like that cycle where people are starting to buy them. And what I've told people to do is to go out on DJI or ping DJI at support@dji.com and ask them if they have any for sale. That's how I told them. I said, you know, you're shooting from the hip on Amazon. You know, you're taking a chance with something like that. I think for the sole part, one of the big reasons why we'll never see another Phantom 4. Remember, Ron, you and Marcus, you know how big that battery was. Okay, it was about as big as a mini drone.
How big the controller was when it the whole
the controller, my gosh, gargantuan. Okay. So which, you know, they would tone the controller down, but you know, even in the drone itself, okay, the whole series and the whole way of thinking, and this is just from my experience, David. Okay, when the original Mavic came out, okay, they made us. DJI was making a statement. They wanted to be able to make things compact and easily travel, but yet, you know, be fully functional like a Phantom. And I think the days of the Phantom are long gone. All right. You know, we're not going to see a drone like that again. And I think it's because, you know, the portability factor of the way drones are right now is off the charts. I mean, you could carry, you know, in a carry-on bag, you know, and that's how I did one of the times when I went up to Ohio. My drone was in my carry-on bag. I didn't need another case for it. It fit right in there.
Hey, Bill, how about this? Rank these for me of the possibilities of coming back. The Phantom coming back series, the Spark series coming back, and the Tello series. Which one is the most likely to come back, and which one is the least likely?
Ron, you left one out. The Karma.
Oh, well, okay, we're going cross company. Throw it in there.
I'm going to say Karma 0 out of 0 for that one. Phantom 0. And I think they may come out with a new version of the Tello.
The Tello 2, finally.
Like a Tello 2 kind of a thing. The Spark, that may be something they might revisit, but I kind of doubt it because the whole idea and the whole concept behind the mini drone was to replace the Spark. Okay. So I think if anything, I think you'll probably see a Tello 2 come out. Because I think, for example, you know, I'm itching. My granddaughter's already asked Grandpa, when can you get me a drone? Okay. 5 years old. And I'm like, oh, you know, my son.
You buy a Tello 2.
Yeah. Something like a Tello 2.
I got an answer right here.
Well, yeah, that's probably a good, that is probably a good
$20. And I'm not kidding you. she'll have more fun with this little thing than you.
Until she says, "Grandpa, where's the record button?"
Yeah.
Well, there's no camera on it. Yeah,
there's no
camera on it.
Video.
So, but it does flips. It does. I mean, it's really cool. It is very stable, easy to fly.
See, she wants one like Daddy has and like Grandpa has. Okay, that's 5 years old. Okay, it's like I would. My daughter and son-in-law, I would be so much trouble if I got her the drone I wanted to get. I would want to get her a mini drone.
Johnny said we should get the V-copters. But Johnny, when's that V-copter mini gonna? They say a V-copter mini is coming. When's that thing gonna get released?
Yeah, see, Johnny said you guys should just get V-copter.
Yeah, but I want the V-copter mini.
Well, Johnny should just start a V-copter channel by himself. I think it would do well. What do you guys think?
Him and the other two guys in the U.S. that own the V-copter.
Yeah, the other two guys in the United States that have the V-copter. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that is absolutely hilarious. But getting back to this, okay, price-wise, looking at something like this is going to be like all booked out and decked out. And I know you guys kind of talked about this a little bit last night. Getting like a Firmware package with this is going to be $4,000 kind of material, guys. I really with that camera, that's a Hasselblad camera that's on there, okay, and it's gonna command a good price point. So getting the Firmware package with that, I think you're going to see $4,000 easy on it. I really do.
Oh, so we're expecting a little sticker shock again.
Well, they're definitely pushing the Mavic up from in the prosumer more to the Pro. And they're definitely rejiggering where their drones all belong, and then they're moving that Air series up to the kind of the prosumer grade. It kind of how it's looking to me.
And say an Air 3S with 1-inch sensors and whatever could kind of replace the Mavic for a lot of folks.
Yeah, that's what
especially at a much reduced price point.
Absolutely, Ron. I absolutely believe that too. Yeah,
I do too.
And then the Mavic 4, if it's a Mavic 4, is more aimed at the guy. Okay, yeah, he flies for fun, but he's also doing weddings and real estate and things like that.
For the Mavic 4, do you think they'll, we're on OcuSync 4 now, people will be asking, do you think the Mavic 4 will come out with it'll have OcuSync 4 Plus?
I'll bet it'll have something improved, but I bet it'll have a built-in dongle too, cellular.
One of the things that you're going to see, and by the way, I know the dongles came out and they're available in Europe out on Build a Drone Reviewer. I posted some pictures of them, so you guys can go ahead and check that out. But one of the things that I wanted to say, as far as that's concerned here, with all of this, all right, it's really kind of a big deal right now, because I think notwithstanding the drone ban and everything else, okay, I think they're going to be moving forward with this. I think we're going to see it sooner rather than later, especially when they tease us with these kind of links. I would predict within the next couple of weeks, you may see something about it being on the FCC database and a picture of the serial, of the.
This is the Air 3S bill you're talking about now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we'll see that. I think,
or Air 4 or whatever they're going to call it. Yeah.
Or Air 4, whatever it's going to be called. I think we're going to see that. I think it's going to be in short order to be out there. Okay. A lot of guys are saying you have to take a loan on something like this, but it's the old adage, go out there on Facebook Marketplace or eBay or wherever and see what you can get for your previous drone, because there's always a good market on those, and you got to be careful in selling those. That's all I got to say about that. That just really need to be careful with that. But with all this being said, okay, it still kind of begs the question. I know David Martin Graff asked me earlier before you guys showed up about a Mini 5, and I made mention of the fact DJI has historically, and I hate using this word because they're as inconsistent as inconsistent is, but more often than not, they've released them around the November kind of time frame. All right.
The only time they skipped that was the Mini 2, they skipped the beat and it didn't come out until the spring of the next year. Like they skipped like a year and a half.
Exactly.
And then they went right back on the regular cycle with the next
on that November cycle. So, it's kind of like, all right, it's like Samsung comes out with their phone in August, Apple comes out with their phone and with probably a tablet in September, and GoPro usually comes out with a camera in September usually. I mean, these are like tried and true.
And a lot of times they're mostly incremental updates.
Exactly. Okay. Not some. It's like you look on these phones right now, and it's just like I looked on the new Z Fold 6, and I'm like, the only thing that's different between that and mine, it has Samsung AI on it, and that's it. There's nothing that's really different.
That's the buzzword.
And Apple Intelligence is coming next.
And
the newer device.
Google Pixel, that's their big deal, is they're building an AI. Hey, I want to point out what Barkley is saying here about the prices of drones too.
He's a couple more up there though.
Yeah, basically, whether you call it a tariff or a value-added tax,
yeah,
same thing. But yeah.
Now, Bill, if you bought what's the drone company you have, the Spectre drones?
Yeah,
if you bought the Spectre version of the new Air 3S, that would not have that tax because it comes from Malaysia, right?
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
Well, no,
that's something for me to email them about, because I was going to be sending them another email because, okay, an update on the accessories to let you guys know. Okay, I went ahead and ordered batteries from them, but the batteries won't be, evidently they're probably on a cargo ship right now that hasn't landed in port. Okay, because Amazon put up a date of August 4th to August 20th, a delivery date for those. Okay. So those are kind of like that.
Like the old slow boat from China, Bill?
Yeah, I think it's on a slow boat from China. Exactly. Because they really can't, obviously, you guys know they can't
air freight them.
They can't air freight them. Exactly.
Yeah.
So they got it. That's how they have.
They could. They probably wouldn't want to spend the money.
Oh yeah. So, but they're coming, and that's good news, and that's a good thing. And it is a healthy alternative to like an Air 3 right now. They do have support here in the United States. If anything happens, warranty work will be done here in the United States. It's not mailed out of the country. I was assured of that when I talked to them. And that's one of the things that I do want to ask them is, coming up, what do they have as far as future plans are concerned? So, and it usually takes about a good 2 or 3 days to get a response from both of them. So it's kind of like, cross your fingers and toes and good luck and wait. So,
hey, KC Crime Fighter Reviews is talking about gambling on when this thing's going to come out. And here's what I can tell you: until people like Casita Lev and Igor, when they have the box, when they start showing pictures of the box, it's real close.
It's gonna be soon.
When they show you the side of the box, it's coming soon. Until then, until they start giving you real specs and the side of the box, it's still a little ways out.
Yeah. And the big thing here, like I said, don't be surprised, everybody, within a couple of weeks, you'll see that it's out on the FCC database. That's just a gut right now.
And sometimes that happens before they leak those box pictures, and sometimes it happens after.
Yeah. There's kind of no rhyme or reason to it.
Like, for instance, the FCC database for the Mini, not the Mini, the Action 5 Pro is out there, but there's still no pictures of the box yet on it.
Yeah. So, and you know what I think that is, Ron? I think they're waiting to build up enough inventory before they start showing
all the early orders.
Yeah, because and that's one thing I have.
Bill, I know we'll never know the figures on this, and we'll never have an accurate thing. This is all speculation. But how, compared to the GoPro, how do you think the Action sales are to the GoPros? Are they even anywhere close to selling as many of those units as the GoPro, or are they way behind?
I think they're close, and I think the gap has closed. I think that's why DJI has come out with a 5 as soon as it did, because I know of all the travails that Marcus had with his. Okay. And I think Marcus I don't think you were alone in your travails with your GoPro. I think a lot of people experienced that. You know what? I want something that works all the time. I don't want to have to sit there. This is an action camera. It's supposed to be rugged. It's supposed to withstand a lot a lot, you know, that you throw at this. Okay.
You don't want to miss the shot. Yeah,
exactly. You don't want to miss the shot. You know, for example, you know, I had my Action 4 Pro on, you know, when we were up at the Ham Festival up in Hamvention up in Ohio. Now, granted, it was in probably about the 80s or so. It was all day. I ran that thing 4 or 5 hours. I didn't have a lick of problems with it at all. None. The whole time I was
the Action 4 is bulletproof compared to almost anything else.
Yeah, I mean, it really was. You know, and I know the travails you said last time, you know, with your last GoPro, Marcus, you know, people want something that works. People don't want something that, you know, you're going to have to send back and get warranty claim and warranty work on. And, you know,
in all fairness to GoPro, if you watch any of the people that reviewed the Hero 12, whatever, even the comparison to Action 4 and just alone, it doesn't have as issues of some of the old.
They resolved a lot of them.
The most recent ones have been much improved in the area of overheating and shutting off. And so
but who wants to take the chance is the thing. But here's why I think they probably sell a gazillion more GoPros than DJI action cameras is because it's the one that they generically refer to an action camera as a GoPro. And I just think there's probably a ton of people that don't even know that DJI makes an action camera.
And some people still swear that the stabilization is better than GoPros. And a lot of people still swear that the video, the color science, whatever you want to say, is better on a GoPro.
And it may be, however, if it is, it's incremental, right?
Right. You really have to look hard to see the difference in those things.
Yeah.
So, well, guys, any closing thoughts for tonight?
Just stay tuned for the action. The Action 2, but the Air 3S. I mean, it may be close. It may be coming in August, but I mean, we don't have enough. The leaks and rumors aren't at the point yet where I expect it
that it's imminent.
Next week or two.
Yeah.
So hold tight. Keep the piggy bank. Don't bust it open yet. Keep dropping the pennies in there.
But get that hammer ready.
Yes.
To be on standby with that hammer.
And when that drone does come out, there could be a launch party on Drone Nation.
There could be. There absolutely could be.
He could get his buy button out of the dustbin or whatever.
Yeah.
Hasn't anything good to buy lately.
Yeah, JAA, the Mavic Pro. We'll have to see what it even is, right? If it's too expensive, I probably wouldn't because I just don't. It wouldn't maybe not hit that sweet spot for me. If it's $2,000 or $2,500, yeah, I'd be more inclined to buy it then. And of course, depends on the features too, right? If it has something that I just think is got to have.
I mean, inside baseball, anybody that runs a YouTube channel, the more expensive the drone is, the least amount of views and interest you're going to get on your channel from it.
There's some truth to that, but also it's like, man, I just love the technology and like to mess around with it. So we'll see what they bring to the table.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, and like these guys said, we're probably a couple of weeks out, maybe, from having some more info on this, some more leaks. But when you start to see the balls rolling, like I said, these leaks don't come out without DJI's blessing. That's been the way it is. All right. And, the more we see, the sooner we'll get to be on the FCC database. And then, we'll be getting more information and more pictures of boxes, and then finally a release. And, it's going to happen sometime this summer. That's for sure.
It could be like that old song from back in the old days. See you in September.
Yep. See you in September. And that's probably a good time frame, Ron. That would really make a lot of sense. And, just a quick comment here, there's no place for what happened a couple of weeks ago. Okay. The gentleman who lost his life, his family, their lives are forever changed. And, we need to, clamp down on this crap and just cut it out. And, doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. Okay. This is wrong. This is just absolutely wrong. And we need to just end this kind of stuff on both sides. It just doesn't have any place for anything. And
well, how long was Reagan the last president or any type of president?
Yeah, actually, I think
with older George Bush, something happened with older George Bush, right?
Younger George Bush, they were over. There was a press conference that was overseas. Dana Perino, she was his press secretary. Somebody threw a shoe at him. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, and they tackled him and everything. But this was during the Gulf War, when they invaded Iraq, and got rid of Saddam Hussein. It happened during that time frame. And then, of course, back to Reagan. And the thing with Reagan that's really interesting, and a lot of people don't know this, he got when the bullet hit him, initially when the shots were fired, he didn't get hit. When the Secret Service agent was pushing him in the car, he got hit and it lodged in his lung from a ricochet after it hit the door on the car.
Oh, wow.
That's how that happened. A lot of people didn't know that. And it was pretty serious surgery. But they did everything right. Okay. And you got to say this.
Now, was that shooter a sniper, or was that somebody that was real close to him?
Yeah, that John Hinckley.
Was he on the ground just close by, or was he a sniper?
He was like a few feet away. I mean,
so he wasn't a sniper. He was right there.
He was right there. Yeah, he had a handgun that did that. So, but yeah, okay. We're onward and upward. We're talking about new drones. We're going out there and flying them. I hope the weather gets better for Marcus up in his neck of the woods.
We need to dry off down in South Florida, huh?
Yeah, I hope the weather starts drying out down here because the grass is growing like crazy. Just let's hope for some.
Let the alligators eat the grass out there, Bill.
Yeah. Just continue to enjoy yourselves, fly your drones, have a great time. Captain Ray, if you're watching us, have a great time.
He's in sunny Southern California, Bill.
Sunny Southern California. Have a great time out there. As always, guys, it's a great day to fly. Have a great rest of your evening. Take care, guys.